Today we're making this lemon blueberry cream cheese pound cake. The sponge is deliciously lemony with a melt in your mouth, even fine and incredibly tender crumb. And every bite is bursting with juicy blueberries scattered throughout the cake. I have a feeling that you'll be making this pound cake very often. Let's begin. You'll first preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Here in this bowl, I'm going to first sift some icing sugar or confectioner's sugar. I like to sift the icing sugar because it tends to have little clumps that don't mix with the rest of the batter if they are not sifted. And into this, I will start adding the zest of one large lemon. And the goal here is to rub the zest into the icing sugar to help release the oils from the zest. So the intense lemony flavor that we get in the cake is predominantly from the oils that are present in the zest, the natural oils that are present in the zest. A quick tip is to not zest your lemon all the way till you see the white part of the lemon. If you go that far, your cake is going to taste bitter. It will have bitter lemon notes. You only really want to zest the yellow part of the lemon. We'll keep that aside now and we'll start working on the blueberries. So I like to take a teaspoon or so of the all-purpose flour that's in the recipe to coat these fresh blueberries because I want the blueberries to be evenly distributed throughout the cake batter instead of sinking to the bottom. Now once I've done that, I'll keep that aside as well and we'll work on the eggs. So we're going to need 4 room temperature eggs. Each egg here is about 50 grams, so you get 200 grams of eggs in here. You will also add some vanilla extract, and then I'm just going to use a whisk to break these apart and combine the eggs and vanilla together. Then I'll keep that aside as well, and then we can start working on our dry ingredients. So in this bowl here, I have some all-purpose flour or plain flour, and into that I've added some baking powder and some salt. I like to just whisk it here and keep it aside, and then I'll sift it directly into the batter. Now we'll start creaming our butter and sugar together. So first, in the bowl of my stand mixer, I'll add some softened room temperature butter. It needs to be soft. I'll use the paddle attachment of my stand mixer to just smooth the butter out for about 30 seconds or so on a medium speed. And then I'll add in the icing sugar that is scented with the lemon zest. I'll add that into the bowl of my stand mixer, and on the lowest speed setting first, I'll mix this until it just starts to combine with the butter. If you go in with a medium-high speed at that point, the icing sugar is going to fly all over the place and you don't want that. So after about 15 seconds or so, when the icing sugar has mixed with the butter, I'll stop the stand mixer, scrape the sides and the bottom of the bowl to make sure everything's really well combined, and then I'll go back in on a medium-high speed, so speed 8 of my stand mixer, which has a speed range of 1 to 10, and I'll mix this for 10 minutes. But I won't go in for 10 minutes in one go. I'll mix it for 5 minutes first. Then I'll stop the stand mixer, I'll scrape the sides and the bottom of the bowl and then go back in for another 5 minutes, and that will lead us to creaming the butter and icing sugar, which is scented with the lemon zest, for about 10 full minutes. Now I do not want you to skimp on this. The 10 minutes that we give to cream the butter and sugar really helps give not just the structure to our lemon blueberry cream cheese pound cake, but it also helps in the leavening. You can see just how much volume gets created and it goes really pale, light and fluffy. And it is this step that really leavens your batter to a very good extent. Whereas the baking powder then just adds a little push to help it rise really well. Now into this, I'm going to add my room temperature cream cheese. Cream cheese not only imparts an amazing flavor to your pound cake, but it also helps keep your pound cake super moist and tender. And we want to amplify the moistness and tenderness in our pound cake by adding some honey, which is a kind of invert sugar. So you want to add the honey as well in there. And then you'll go back in with your paddle attachment on a medium-high speed for about 2 minutes. You want the cream cheese and the honey to combine really well with the creamed butter and icing sugar mix. You can make this lemon blueberry cream cheese pound cake with electric beaters as well. It is entirely up to you. Now, once the 2 minutes are up, I will slow down the speed of my stand mixer to medium, and I'll start adding the eggs that are infused with vanilla. but you don't want to add everything in one go. You'll add a little at a time, then you'll wait till it's incorporated into the batter, and then add a little bit more until all of the egg mix has been added into the batter. Now, towards the end, while your egg mix is just about to get over, you will start to notice that the batter looks split. Do not be alarmed, this is bound to happen, and it just means that the emulsion has broken, but it will re-emulsify once we add our dry ingredients. So do not panic, this is totally normal. You'll use your spatula after you've added all of the eggs, and you'll scrape the sides and the bottom of the bowl, because you can see there are quite a few unmixed bits of the egg still there peeking from the batter. And then you'll go back in on a medium-high speed for about 2 minutes. You'll now sift in the dry ingredients that we prepared earlier, and you'll sift it directly into the cake batter like this. And then you'll go back in with your paddle attachment on the lowest speed for about 5 seconds first, until it just starts to come together. And then you'll stop your stand mixer or your electric beaters if that's what you're using, and then you'll add in the lemon juice as well. Then go back in for just about 20 to 25 seconds on the lowest speed until the batter comes together like this. You do not want to overwork the cake batter at this point, because that will develop the gluten in the all-purpose flour or plain flour, and if the gluten gets developed, then your cake is going to be very dense and gummy. You absolutely do not want that. So do not overmix your cake batter. You can see how amazing velvety smooth that batter looks. Now I will dump in the flour coated blueberries that we prepared earlier, and I'll gently fold it in, making sure that the blueberries are evenly distributed throughout the batter. You don't want to overmix, just keep folding in till all the blueberries are well distributed. And now we'll start adding it into our bundt pan. I have a 9-inch bundt pan, and even though this bundt tin is non-stick, you want to grease it with butter, not with oil, with butter. Greasing it with butter really makes a difference, because butter is still solid and it prevents the cake from sticking to the tin. And not just the decorative part on the inside, but also the flute that is in the center. You want to grease all of that really well. Once you've added the batter in, you're going to shuffle the tin and then tap it along the work surface to release any air pockets. And then you're going to use an offset spatula to spread out and even out the cake batter. What I also like to do is, if there are any blueberries peeking out of the batter, I like to push them in with the offset spatula, because the direct heat will end up burning the blueberries and I don't want that. And then this will go in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 35 to 40 minutes. A skewer or a knife inserted in the center should come out clean. Then you're going to let the cake cool in its tin once it's out of the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. Once the tin is easy to handle, you will invert the cake onto a wire rack to cool completely, and you can see just how easily the cake just slides out of the tin. And that's the reason why you do want to grease it very well with some butter. And you can see how soft and pillowy this blueberry lemon cream cheese pound cake is. You're going to let it cool down completely, and once it has, you're going to make your lemon glaze. Now this is entirely optional. You can just dust it with some icing sugar and you're good to go. I just wanted to add this extra lemon kick to the cake, and so I'm making this glaze. I'm sifting in some icing sugar, and into this I'm going to add some lemon juice. I would recommend adding lemon juice a little at a time. I want a relatively thicker glaze so that it coats the top of the cake. At first it will look like it's not mixing really well and it won't come together, but once you keep whisking it, it actually does get fluid pretty quickly. So you don't want to add a lot in the beginning thinking that it's too thick, because when you keep mixing, it will loosen up. And this is the consistency that I'm after. If you want a thinner glaze, you can add a little bit more of the lemon juice, but I would recommend adding a little at a time till you're happy with the consistency that you are aiming for. And then you'll take the spatula and just drizzle the glaze on top. Again, you do not have to do this. You can just sprinkle it with some icing sugar or confectioner's sugar and you'll be good to go. I just find that this looks so pretty, and it also adds an extra lemony boost to complement the juicy blueberries in the cake. Once you're happy with how the glaze looks, you let it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes till the glaze sets. And then you're ready to slice into this amazing, delicious lemon blueberry cream cheese pound cake. I want you to pay special attention to the crumb of this cake. Look at how fine and even the crumb is. It's also extremely delicate and tender and just melts in your mouth. And I just want to show you how well scattered the blueberries are throughout the cake batter. So every bite, as you can see, there's this blueberry hidden right in the center of the cake. So every bite gives you a burst of these juicy blueberries, and the cake itself is flavored so beautifully with that lemon zest that we added in the cake batter. Is just amazing, and a cake that you have to give a go, because once you make this, you will be making this very often. This is a cream cheese pound cake that has a perfect balance of the citrus notes from the lemon and fresh fruitiness from the blueberries. Now, if you're looking for more variations, I have an entire playlist of pound cakes that is going to get your creative juices flowing. You need to check it out. It's on the screen. Enjoy and happy baking!